Okay, so good morning everyone. So we'll be doing our first online lecture for tourism laws. So let me just have a run through of what we have discussed last time. So we are in chapter 7. This is labor laws and management of the tourism establishments. Like what we have discussed earlier or last meeting, we told that tourism is a labor-intensive industry, and about 85% of um, the industry's employment is basically from the human labor force. No? So we have already cleared that one out. That's why it is required for us tourism professionals to understand the different provisions, legal provisions related to tourism laws. Okay, so we have already started. Just like what I have said, this topic is divided into 3 parts. So we will be discussing the kinds of employment, the different disciplinary measures in case an employee conducts any infractions, and last is the different labor saving devices. So we have started last meeting with the kinds of employment. So basically, according to the Labor Code of the Philippines, there are about 6 kinds of employments prevailing here in our country. Say, for instance, we have number 1, which is the regular employment. We have 2, casual. Then we also have the project employment. We also have the seasonal employment, fixed period employment, and probationary employment. So, just to review, like what we have discussed, regular employment or regular employees are those employees who are enjoying the benefits, the entire benefits, the full-fledged benefits of a given company. Say for instance, they have their statutory benefits such as SSS, pag-ibig, PhilHealth, and then their leave credits. And then there are also management prerogative or management directed benefits, like health cards, let's say MaxiCare, PhilCare. There are meals, duty meals, etc., etc. Some companies are even generous enough to give cost of living allowances, diba, yung mga sometimes uniform allowance, etc., etc. Okay. So again, who are the regular employees? There are 4 conditions. Number 1, anyone who is engaged in the performance of the activities that is either necessary or desirable to a company, regardless of the length of service. Just like what we have discussed, examples are the general managers or those who are in the higher positions. They can be considered as regular employees right after they sign the contract. Another one, or another scenario, are those who have rendered at least a year of service, even though it's continuous or it's broken, or what we call as staggered, basta 12 months. Okay, 12 months na serbisyo with the same job description, they are considered to be regular employees rather. And the last one is according to Article 281 of the Labor Code of the Philippines. It says there that those who were given the chance to report to office right after their probationary period is considered to be a regular employee. So like what we have like the example that I have given last time, let's say for instance, one student, let's say for instance, one tourism graduate applies to become a hotel front desk clerk of a certain hotel, and her contract is from January 1 to June 30, and then after such, dapat tapos na yung contract niya June 30, she was allowed to come in, or she is still in the roster on July 1, then definitely hindi na siya pwedeng tanggalin and she can be considered as a regular employee. Okay? So, according to the law, it's not the will and the word of the employer that's going to tell us what's the status of our employment, but rather it is the nature of the work, it is the duration of the work, and basically the length of time or the coexistence of a continued service that you are giving to a certain company. Okay, so I think it's clear for us that we have defined what is a regular employee. Now, let's go now to the casual employees or casual employment. According to the law, the casual employment where is an employee is engaged in the performance of a job or work which is merely incidental. Take note of the term, it's merely incidental, meaning to say, even wala ka, or even wala yung job mo, magpo-fulfill pa rin, no? So, parang kumbaga, they have taken some jobs from another person in order for them to build another job. So, if ever, that can be considered for casual employment. So, incidental lang yung trabaho mo. So, pwedeng by this time, kailangan, by next time, hindi na. Okay? Or pwedeng i-absorb ng ibang tao. Okay? Yung trabaho mo. So, basically, ang casual po, or the casual employees are, normally, they have certain terms. Hi, ma'am. Nagkakandak na ako ng on. Okay. So, going back, we have, dito, we have casual employees can be regularized, okay, in the terms of they have performed at least 12 continuous months or 12 broken months na ang service nila is within the same job description according to Article 280 of the Labor Code of the Philippines. So, meaning to say, let's say for instance, a hotel nurse has been taken in, no, as a reliever for a certain company, and then basically she started, let's say for instance, she started on January 1 and her first contract ends on June 30. Then after June 30, they cannot find anyone who can replace this female nurse, this hotel nurse. So what they have done is they have rehired her for another contract of 6 months for casual status again. So meaning to say 6 plus 6, 6 months on the first contract, 6 months on the second contract, that will equate us to 12 months of continuous service. And this 12 months of continuous service according to Article 20 of the Labor Code of the Philippines, 280 rather, Article 280 of the Labor Code of the Philippines, this employee has now the right to be promoted to a regular status. Okay, so this is one of this example is actually discussed under an actual case of Manila Peninsula versus Elaine Alipio, which existed on June 17 of 2008. So, according to the facts of the case, the Manila Peninsula or the Peninsula Hotel Manila, which we all know is in Makati, has hired someone to become a reliever, no, a reliever on a shift for their clinic, okay, for the hotel clinic. So on December 11 of 1993, Elaine Alipio was hired as a reliever nurse, and she had performed the tasks or the functions that a regular nurse is actually doing. Well, after 5 years, from 1993 to 1998, she has been working as a casual employee. So, looking into the considerations of 5 long years, meaning to say that's more than 12 months of catering the same service on the same company, Peninsula Hotel Manila didn't opt to promote her as a regular employee. And sad to say, on the year 1998, she was terminated from her post mainly because for the reason that she is a casual employee. So Ms. Alipio, on the other hand, filed a case of illegal dismissal, and with this, she had mentioned that she is a regular employee because she had served more than 12 months of the same work. So the issue that has been raised on the Supreme Court is basically if Elaine, who is a mere reliever of a regular nurse of the hotel, is considered as a regular employee. And according to the ruling of the Supreme Court, it has found that Ms. Alipio is a regular employee in the operations of the law, no? So, like what I have discussed, sabi dito, Alipio's service was engaged by the hotel intermittently from 1993 up until 1998. Her service as a reliever nurse were undoubtedly necessary and desirable in the hotel's business of providing comfortable accommodation in the hotel's business, in its guests. In any case, since she had rendered more than 1 year of intermittent service as a reliever nurse of the hotel, she has become a regular employee as early as December 12 of 1994. So meaning to say, technically 4 years. Okay, 4 years from the time na dapat maging regular na siya, she was not exactly benefiting on the same benefits na nakukuha niya dapat dun sa kumpanya. So with this, according to the Supreme Court's ruling, nireimburse ng Manila Peninsula ng Peninsula Hotel Manila yung benefits na dapat nakuha niya since December 12 of 1994 up until the current year of this case in writing, which is 1998. So lahat ng benefits niya, statutory benefits and management directed benefits, shall be enjoyed by Miss Alipio. Okay, and she has to retain her job as well. Okay. Next, so we proceed now to the third kind of employment according to the labor code, which is the project employment. So basically project employment, so like alam naman natin, narinig natin yan katulad ng mga pag tinatayo yung mga buildings, diba, yung mga pag meron tayong mga road widening projects, yan. So normally they hire contractors, and contractors are working on project basis. Okay, they also hire their employees on project basis depending on what kind of project, depending on the length of the project that they are actually doing. So on the book, it says here that project employment contemplates on the arrangement whereby the employment has been fixed for a specific project or undertaking whose completion or termination has been determined at the time of the engagement of the employee. So, yun nga po. So, like what I have said, tawag dito, meron siyang fixed period, meron siyang start date, meron siyang end date, and meron siyang requirements for completion talaga. Okay, and then there are two requirements that needs to be satisfied. So number one, there's a designation of specific project or undertaking which the employee is hired. So dapat there is a specific project na kailangan alam ng empleyado kung bakit siya na-hire para dun sa project na yun. And dapat yung expertise ng empleyado for that project is also aligned with the project that is needed to be done. Then, there is a clear determination of the completion or termination of the project at the time of the employee's engagement. So, meaning to say, malinaw po dapat kung ilang months or ilang days or ilang weeks lang siya kailangan or kung gaano kahaba lang yung kanyang magiging term doon sa tawag ito, dun sa project na yun. No? So, for instance, halimbawa, yung mga yung mga welders, kunwari, diba, sa construction, yung mga welders, kailangan lang sila during the time na binubuo yung pinaka-structure. Then afterwards, yung mga iba naman, yung mga carpenters naman. So, dapat definite yung schedule at saka alam dapat nila kung kailan. In our case, in the hotel industry, marami din tayong project-based employees, no? So, ano ba itong mga project-based employees natin? Say, for instance, let's say, there will be a cruise ship who will be docking here in Manila, and then they will be needing a 21-day tour in the Philippines, a land-based tour. So we will be hiring freelance tour guides for a project of doing the entire 21-day tour program. So that's basically a project employment. So definite yun po yung time, definite din yung requirements, definite lang din yung or very specific lang din yung task na ipagagawa ko sa inyo. Okay? So, yun po siya. That's for the project employment. So, next we have the so-called seasonal employment. So, when we talk about seasonal employment, so, this is based on the demand of work. No? So, meron tayo katulaya sa atin in our industry. So, kapag Pasko, di ba? O kaya, lalo na pag mga holiday season natin, mas marami yung mga nag-events, mas marami yung sa mga hotels, mas marami yung kailangan ng function rooms, mas marami yung nangangailangan ng places for them to celebrate their Christmas party, etc., etc. So they will be needing more banquet employees. So they normally seasonal employees po, yun po yung mga tipong pag kinailangan lang or mataas yung demand, tsaka lang sila darating. Okay? So in seasonal employment also, like say for instance sa mga factories, di ba, yung mga gumagawa, pag halimbawa yung mga tawag dito, ayan, pag magpapasko, mas madami yung manufacturing requirements, so that's the time that they will be hiring seasonal workers also, seasonal factory workers. So as what I have said in the book, it says here that seasonal employment operates much in the same way as project employment, albeit it involves work or service that is seasonal in nature or lasting for a duration of a season. So meaning to say, meron lang talaga silang buwan. Kaya halimbawa, kapag yun nga, pag Pasko, mas marami, dun lang sila, and then afterwards, pag tapos na, hintay ulit sila next year, kumahara sila ulit. Diba? So yun yung seasonal employees. Okay? And then the next one is basically the fixed term employment. So fixed term employment naman po is basically an employment with a fixed or definite period. So examples of these are the OFWs. So meaning to say they have a defined they have a defined contract when to start and when to end. So kung titingnan din natin sa project base, halos pareho lang din po sila. Ang pinagkaiba lang po, yung project employment is defined yung task. Okay, so meaning to say they have specific task talaga that is part of the project. No, pagkatapos yung task nila, pwedeng tapos din yung project or pwedeng bahagi lang, which is bahagi sila ng isang project, or sila ay bahagi for the entirety of the project. Okay? Fixed term employment naman po is basically hindi siya task driven, but it is more of the duration lang. Ang focus is the duration. So let's say for instance OFW. So OFWs can let's say for instance you are assigned in the food and beverage sector of a hotel in Dubai. So basically hindi siya tawag dito, hindi siya project kasi hindi naman for a certain period lang yung pangangailangan ng food and beverage. It will be for the entirety of the business, pero yung work mo is for a certain period lang. Okay, so yun yung pinagkaiba niya sa project base. Okay, another thing, us, katulad namin, mga deans, chairpersons, yan, we are also considered as fixed term employees because even we have a definite time kung kailan lang kami magsaserve as department heads or chairpersons. And apparently, kung matapos man yun, pwede kami mapalitan, pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na pagkatapos yun, tapos din yung entire program, diba? So, meaning to say, the program will be continuous even though we are not already the heads of a certain department. So, yun po yung mga fixed term employments. And then, normally, fixed term employments are being renewed depending on the performance of the employee. So, if the employee performs well, then the contract can be renewed. And normally, it may last like, say, a year or 2 years, no? Mga fixed term employments na. And then, talking about sea-based employment, let's say for instance, the cruise personnel are actually contractual in nature. Okay, they don't have any permanency, they don't have any regular, they are not considered as regular employees of any cruise ship companies, mainly because according to the law, particularly on Article 280 rather of the Labor Code, ang seafarers po ay considered to be as contractual employees because they serve for a certain contract, for a certain period on a cruise ship. And basically, once they go down, or nag-dock na sila, nag-dry dock na sila dito sa home country nila, their contract ends and their employment also ends. That's why they have to reapply. Okay, so yung mga nasa cruise companies po, yung mga nasa cruise ships, kaya nga po sobra yung kanilang pag-iipon din kasi basically pagkababa nila ng Pilipinas, pagkababa nila sa lupa, wala po sila talaga technically ng trabaho. They have to reapply. Okay? So, and the last topic for today is the sixth kind of employment, which is the probationary employment. So when we talk about the probationary employment, this is when employment upon the engagement is made to undergo a trial period. So like what I have discussed before, most of the or not most, basically in general, ng mga companies dito sa Philippines, they will hire rank and file employees under probationary status. This is the trial period. And normally in the Philippines, our trial period can last to 6 months. No? So yan yung medyo standard natin, 6 months. But there are some companies who can even extend. Kasi nga ang sabi naman natin sa batas, 12 months of continuous work can be considered as a regular employee. So yung probation, pwede mo siyang i-extend. So let's say, pwede ka mag-probation ng 3 months. Kung gusto mo lang ma-extend yung probationary status ng staff mo, okay lang. 3 months kung gusto mo ng irregular, fine. 6 months is a standard. Kung hindi ka pa satisfied dun sa performance ng staff mo, pwede mo pa siyang i-extend for another 3 months, that's 9 months, it's still fine, okay lang yun. Huwag lang isasagad ng 1 year. Kasi pag sinagad mo na siya ng 1 year, automatically, you have to regularize the staff. Kasi qualified na siya according to the law. Okay? So, basically, ito po. Sabi nga dito, the period of probationary employment, generally, the probationary period of employment is limited to 6 months. Except, number 1, when the parties to an employment contract may agree otherwise, such as when the same is established by the company policy. Yan. So, may mga companies, especially like the in our industry, in the tourism industry, say for instance, you will be under the under sales and marketing department. There is a special clause on the contract saying that during your probationary period, if you will not be performing or you will not be hitting the sales target, that will be a grounds for termination. Pwede rin na maging consideration siya for extension of the probationary period, which is really possible. And the last is when the same is required by the nature of work to be performed by the employee. So there are times, let's say yun, like na-discuss ko na dati, kung yung ang GM po or mga managerial position, sometimes hindi na yan dumadaan din ng probationary status because unang-una sa lahat, image-wise concerns. Parang, di ba, sabi nga natin, ang hirap paniwalaan ng isang general manager na nag-lead ng isang buong hotel, pero probationary status katulad ng empleyado. So, parang, alam mo sa sarili mo na paano pag hindi siya nag-perform ng maayos, paano siya matanggal. So, normally, some companies will actually regularize them. Right there. And then, yun. So, probationary period, I must say, napakadaming concerns dyan, no? Kasi may mga maraming grounds. So, lalo na kayo, kung kayo ay magiging empleyado na soon, di ba? Sa corporate world natin, basically, during the probationary period, you really have to show everything that you got because sometimes the probationary period can be shortened, sometimes the probationary period can be extended, which is bad. No? So, dapat sana na-experience mo na yung mga benefits ng isang regular employee. Kaso, since na-extend, huwag lang aabot ng 1 year. Diba? So, pwedeng ma-delay pa rin yung mga benefits na. So, basically, that's our lecture for today. So, we have already discussed the 6 kinds of employment according to the Labor Code of the Philippines. So, the next meeting, we will be discussing the hotel standards on the hotel systems on double probation. Okay, so ano ba yung double probation na tinatawag natin? And basically, we are going to discuss also the termination of probationary employees and what are the different disciplinary measures that a company can apply in cases that an employee commits any infraction on the company's rules and regulations. And with that, we also have an assignment which you have to submit to me by this afternoon, not later than 5 p.m. So I will be asking you to answer the chapter quiz for chapter 7. And can you please take a picture of it, okay, with your names on it, and you please sign the paper also. Take a picture of it and then send it or post it on our Google Classroom. Okay, I'll be waiting for that until 5 p.m. today so that I can check it afterwards. Okay, so if you don't have any concerns, if you have any concerns, please mag-comment lang po tayo dito sa video.